Hey, what's going on everyone? Shiva Sapkota here with another Tesla video. Today I'm going to be reviewing what I truly believe is the best instrument cluster display we have ever had in the channel. And this because it tops the F88, it tops the F9, all the other instrument cluster displays that we have reviewed because it combines a lot of features from all of those displays and puts it into one. We've got some iPhone and Android phones to test all the Android capability as well as the iPhone capability on this display. And we're going to be showing detailed step-by-step installation guide for all the Tesla models, Juniper, Highland, older Tesla Model 3, Model Y. This is also applicable for Cybertruck. Unfortunately, I don't have a Cybertruck. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Shiva Sapkota. I'm an engineer. I love taking apart Tesla, showing people a step-by-step installation guide and just sharing my feedback about different products. If you are into videos like this, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. So this product comes from a company called Sunny Auto. They sent me this product free of charge to review in our channel. This is the first time I'm working with them, so I did ask them to send some information about the company, and they told me that they are an R&D company in China where they direct manufacture this product and they're able to make changes based on customer feedback. That's the biggest thing that I want, is them be able to make hardware and software changes based on our feedback. And they say since they manufacture this and not just a reseller, they're able to accommodate those changes. Please continue to put your comments in the comment section below and I'm going to pass it on to the company. If you wanted to check this product out, this is the website, link down below, and I'll show you how you can save some money. So right now you can do 2017 to 23 Model 3 or Model Y. You can do Model 3 Highland or Model Y Juniper with front camera, and if you hit add to cart, it shows that this is $519, but I'm going to show you how you can save some money. So go to checkout here. You can put a discount code SHIVATESLA, Shiva Tesla, hit enter, and that will knock out $103, bringing this to $415. I'll let you be the judge if this is worth it or not, but that's what you get. All right, let's do a quick unboxing and I'm going to show you how to do the installation. In the box, it shows what the product is. I'm really excited about this adjustable air vents. This is the first because they usually put air vents but not adjustable, and they look large enough. This, at a first glance, this is of course the Model Y Juniper view here, and it looks really cool. Just even the graphics here, it looks like the F88 but with a better graphics and enhanced. So let's take a look at it, how this goes. But this is everything that you get with the packaging. The packaging is nice and gives you the warranty card here. How nice, they even sent me electrical tape. This is the camera. We have seen this type of a camera before. So this is what it is. We're going to show you how to install that in the front. Here are all the wiring. So they send you the power plug, they send you the OBD plug, and I think there's like the AMD versus just the regular Model Y versus the older Model Ys, and I'll show you how this works here in just a second. They even send us a USB-C to A adapter, and then they send you a fishing cable too, which is really nice. Not a lot of companies send this, so kudos to them for including that. And then here is the display itself. Let me take this out. Looks really nice. So of course this is from the back, so this is what is going to be sucking the air in from the air vent, and then this is the adjustable air vent. Look at that, you can even adjust the top and bottom, which is nice, and then you can adjust sideways. So if you want to push this way or that way, and that does adjust the inside of this. And so here is just the cable. So this is the camera one, this is the power one, and then yeah, looks really nice. Let's show you how to install this. There is a USB-C in the back, and it looks pretty large. So the wiring is super simple. You get these two plugs here. These are both power plugs. They are identical. This is just a bit smaller. So this is just the 8-pin connector. This is for the new Model Y Juniper. And then for this guy, this is the 10-pin connector. This is for the Highlands or the older Model Ys, AMD Model Ys, or the 3s. So this plugs into the power port. I'll show you how to do the bypass here. Super simple. You can daisy chain as many accessories as you want there. Then you get the OBD plug. There is a blank OBD port if you don't have any accessories currently installed, where you just plug this in and that's it. You just leave this open. But if you want to add additional accessories, daisy chain multiple accessories, you can use this. It's nice that they send you both male and female. Some companies do that. There is a fuse here to protect your car and the electronic, and there is just a single plug that goes and plugs into the display, and then the other plug is coming from the front camera. So the front camera comes in, you plug in the yellow right here. So if you look at the display, we have got the yellow plug. So this yellow plug is just from the camera coming in straight, and this other plug is what you plug this one in. And that's it. So for the Model 3 Highland and the Juniper, you're gonna have to remove this dash cover, and it is a little bit difficult than the just typical Model 3 or Y, because this is kind of propped in really well with a lot of clips around in both the front and the back. So you wanna use your pry tools, get as many pry tools that you have, and just basically go underneath here and start propping this. Don't yank this out, don't pull this with your hand, just use the pry tool and start propping this. This is very patient work, so you're gonna need to do that at least for the first time, and it might be loose afterwards for other installs in the future, but for the first time this does feel very stuck, and you just have to kind of loosen it using this pry tool. You just have to pry it open, maybe leave some of these tools here, and then make your way all the way through. So this is likely going to take some time if you have never opened this in the past. So as I said earlier, go with the tool. I propped out just one clip here, and this is a long game. You wanna kind of go around with the tool and keep propping this pins out. If you look at it here, so I have been able to take out a couple more pins, and I may have the metal part stuck in there. So I have to figure that out in just a second, but yeah, just go around, keep doing that. This is going to take some time. As you see, it starts coming off. Make sure that this does not go back in once it comes off. But once you get it started, this becomes a lot easier. Like this side, these are already coming off a lot easier. So getting started is the hardest part here. So after you have unplug some of these pins there, I would put like a pry tool or something to hold this side somewhere in the middle there, and I'm gonna do it from the other side. That is because we don't want the dash to fall down and again get on those pins. As you see, like I think I bent some of these metal clips here. I'm gonna have to go back and fix that. I can use a needle nose plier to fix that there, but as I said, you have to be super careful, but sometimes that's the only way you can get this off. So I'm gonna go on the other side and then try to get off the rest. So again, same deal from this side here. We're gonna go and start propping this side up, and slowly this is going to unclip. I can hear some of that clip going. So if you look at it here, that got unclipped. And this is my first time unclipping this. So on the Highland, never removed this one. So that's why it is a lot harder, because the next time around is going to be a lot easier to do this on this car. So here you go. That's how you make your way all the way there. So we were successful on removing this, and let me show you how this goes. So if you look at those pins there, they kind of go in all throughout, and the job is you want to kind of put a leverage on this pin area and pull this up, and there's a whole bunch of them on this dash, and you just have to kind of remove it. Let's go and fix some of them that we may have kind of broken because you know some of those pins came off. So let me show you how we're gonna fix that. So one of them is right here. You see how this should be flush like that? This came off, so we are basically gonna use a needle nose plier, and then we are going to push this in just a little bit so that it can still grab onto the dash, but it is more flushed, and we're not going to have issues putting the dash back in. Next, we're gonna work on wiring all of this here. It's the exact same process that we have used multiple times. There's gonna be OBD and power. Let me show you how to do that. All you have to do is first unlatch this weather stripping just up to somewhere here by the door. So that's the first step. Now we're gonna remove this panel. Now you're gonna take the pry tool and prop open this panel right here on the side. Just be gentle with this step. It doesn't require much force. You just go up and then prop this out, depending on how many times you have removed this. Mine, I haven't really removed this yet, so it should be pretty straightforward. And there you go. It just comes out, so that's super simple. Next, we have to remove this plastic fastener, and just take your pry tool and prop that open. And if you look at it, this just comes out. So you're gonna keep this in a safe place and then move on to the next step. Next step is really to just remove this bottom trim panel here, and If you look at it super easily, that's how it comes out. So this is what we are after. There is gonna be a OBD port. It could be a gray port, white port, blue port. It could be right here. Just look for a port like this. For Juniper, Highland, AMD model, it's the exact same thing, except Intel cars, which have a port inside, and I don't think this product is compatible for Intel anyways. But right here, so this is what you're looking for. It's gonna be an open port just sitting there, either here or there. For Highland, it's gonna be right here, it's gray. For Juniper, it might be a different color, it might be right here, but you'll see that. This is an open OBD port, and this is your power cable. So this is how we're going to tap into power. I already have a bunch of accessories installed in this car. That's why mine looks like this, but I'm gonna be daisy chaining everything again anyway. So this is what we're gonna do. For the OBD side, you're just going to take simply the male end of this new cable, and then you are going to go over right here. This is the OBD port, and then you're gonna plug it in, and it will just click into its place, and we are good to go. So like right there, the OBD is connected. So the car's computer is connected, all the controls and everything the display has, this is how it is going to do. And again, as I say, yours is gonna be stationary if you never have any other accessory. Mine has the sexy enhanced commander connected, that's why I have that there. And yeah, this is the enhanced right there. Module is plugged in. Now all there is left to do is connect to the power, which this is the power. So this is for the Juniper because it's gonna be smaller, and this is for the Highland and all the other cars which are gonna be slightly bigger, and we're gonna bypass right here. Let me show you how to do that next. So the power bypass is also extremely easy. It is gonna be right here. If you look at it, mine already has an accessory, so I am just going to daisy chain it. This is how you can connect a lot of accessories together. So basically what you do is press on this middle tab right here, and while holding that tab down, just pull the plug out. And then so you see, that's the plug that you just pulled out. Now we're gonna take the new harness. So this is the new harness, this is the male plug of the new harness, and we're simply going to plug into the female port. And then we're gonna take the female port of the new harness and plug it into the Tesla's male port, right there. So now this is all done. So what did we just do? We connected this is the Tesla's male port for the 12-volt power supply that is coming through. We connected to the female port of the new harness. We took the male port of the new harness and connected to the female port of the Tesla or another accessory you got. So in this case, if you have like another accessory connected here, plug it into the female plug of that accessory and take the male plug of that and then plug it into Tesla. So this is how you see the male Tesla, female this new display, male new display, female enhance, male enhance goes and connect to Tesla. This is how it becomes a complete circuit. Same thing here. The male of the new display connected to the female of the enhanced sexy commander, and then the male of that sexy commander goes and connects to the Tesla's OBD, and I still have this plug open, so I can plug in another display or anything out here in the future. One thing to keep in mind is, especially on Highland, it's gonna start getting crowded here, so you have to do some wire management, but that is the entire connection. We just did it. Now we just have to route this end all the way to the front along with the camera cable. So as much as I want to just jump in and wire everything, I always make it a habit of first testing the unit when the wiring is still exposed before I route the cable, because it becomes pain in the butt later down the road to try to test this if you have already installed it. So we're going to take the yellow cable from the camera right here. I haven't routed the camera on this one yet. So the camera cable plugs in. Now I'm going to take this black cable and then take the black port from the original wiring, which is this guy here, and I'm going to plug it in. It's super simple. Just align this and plug it in, and let's see if this wakes up or not. If this does not wake up, then we have an issue. But yep, I don't think you can see that, but there you go. So the door is open. It knew it. It got the mileage, the charge percent. So this is good to go. Wow, it even shows, wow. It even shows the consumption, which is gonna be crazy to see, but this is amazing. So this is good to go. This is working fully. Let me see how I can get the camera up and running, but wow, the UI looks amazing. We're gonna test the camera there because it needs to be on a drive mode to be able to test it. I haven't figured out the manual mode for camera yet. So what I wanted to do was put this here. I haven't installed this or anything, it's just waste in there. I am going to put the car into drive and then you take a look. The camera is working fine, guys. This is awesome. So this is a super wide angle camera, as you can see, like it's a fisheye view like a GoPro, but the camera is working fine. So now we are going to get together with the rest of the install. Now let's work on the camera here. This is super simple. You see this is a adjustable arm, and how this goes is we're gonna put a 3M adhesive that they sent here and attach it to the bumper, and this is going to be facing the top. So it's going to attach to the bumper and this is adjustable. So what we do is essentially look at the arrow here. It says top is this way. So we're gonna align the top with this piece right here, and then we're going to be putting the 2 screws that they sent with the kit, this guys, through right here. So if you look at it, we're gonna align this and then put the screw that way. What happens is this is going to be facing the top side, and then you can adjust the camera to be up or down just based on your preference, or straight if needed. But that's what you need to do is right here, look at it, and then you can just put the screw right there. One thing to keep in mind, there is bigger and smaller screws. Use the smaller screw for the camera mount here because the bigger screws go on the car. In case you didn't want to use just the 3M tape and you wanted to stick this into the car by just drilling a hole, then you can do that. I would not advise that because I just use the 3M tape on all of this installs for years and years and nothing has fallen. The camera has never fallen. So we're done here. As you can see, you can bend this, angle it, and now the final thing is we're going to remove this and install it right here. So you can align the holes and then just paste this here. So we have just one side left, so this side is already good to go. Now we can just peel this and then stick it on the bumper. So let's go ahead and install the camera. So no matter what model of the car that you got, first thing we gotta do is remove this air vent panel here. Just go over here and you can just basically start popping this up, and there's a bunch of clips that just come out and you're able to just loosen this. Just go around and do that. This is exactly the same mistake. Highland, Model Y, Juniper, even the older Model 3 is exactly the same process. So you just want to release these clips and kind of pop this out from here. And just go around. This will just come off. So step number 1, remove this. Next, we're gonna be removing this unit here. As I said, this just pops out, no problem. We can just leave it here. Next, we need to reach over here and remove this panel. Removing this panel is extremely easy. You just have to go behind here and prop this out. So if it is a little too tight, you may need to use a pry tool, but usually it just props out like this. There you go. So this is loosened. You've got your bar here for the toe, and we need to disconnect this. If you have an older car, this tow bar might be right here, and this is a little lighter. This is heavier because in Highland they put it here, and I believe in Juniper too. To remove this, it's a super simple process. You just have to hold on to this clip and just simply pull this out, and it just comes out like that. So we're good to go. Now we can put this away, and then start removing this unit. So for this next step, we need to remove this 10mm sockets. There are only 4 in Highland, and I believe same in Juniper, but just check they're visible, like out there where you need to remove those. Any 10mm socket that you see, you can remove it. It might be on a clip right here. Some may have it connected there, and if you have like a regular Tesla Model Y, you are also gonna have a clip right here. So just be careful where this is going. It's super simple. It's the same process. So we're gonna use a 10mm socket wrench to remove that. And if you work in a car, you know that 10mm gets lost so easily. So take care of it. Let's go ahead and remove all of this. So again, super simple process. We're just going to use this ratchet wrench here. You can use a power tool, doesn't matter. my advice is to leave this inside the front because we're going to be removing it. And then so just go make your way around. There are just 4 in our case. Now your job is to basically go around and start pulling this up. There's going to be some clips on the side. Don't apply too much pressure, but it's as simple as just popping this up. And as I say, be gentle. If it is not coming off, then something might be stuck. So just keep that in mind. But our case, we just have to make our way from one side and then go from this side and then pull this up. So right now, this does feel a little stuck. So I'm gonna check what is going on. Now, once you loosen everything from all ends, you can kind of grab here and then pull this out. If it feels like something is stuck here, just give it some force and it will just come off. This whole thing just comes out super easily. On mine, they had installed 2 red pins on the bottom there, which go like right here and on the other side. So while you're pulling it, you have to apply some force, but just keep that in mind. If it feels stuck, maybe it is those pins. Now, I've seen that on some cars. It even slides out from there. So Tesla is not really standard on a few of those models, depending on where it came from. So if it slides, if there is a little gap here that you see, that's probably what you gotta do. So the next step is we're gonna fish the wire from the bottom to the top here. And it's a little bit difficult on a Model 3 because there is not a lot going on, but let me show you how I ended up doing it. So you take the fishing cable they sent with the kit and you get yourself a mat because you have to lay down for this if you're doing on a Model 3. Model Y, maybe not so much. And then if we peek through here, what it has is a rubber material that goes through there. So you're gonna have to reach underneath here and push up slightly. So if you use your finger or a screwdriver or something, you can push this up slightly. So if I show you right here, right there. So that, you see this material inside? That is just a flexible rubber. So you're able to just simply push on it and that opens up a little bit of a space for you where you can put this thread here and then you can grab it from over there on the top. So that's what you gotta do. Don't worry about being in center or anything quite yet because we're gonna figure that out after we put the camera, but that's how you can push this through. That's the exactly same thing on a Model Y or anything Model Y, you just have a little bit more room to reach here. Model 3 is tight. So next we are going to route the camera cable, and camera cable comes with an extension here, but this is a little bit of a bigger thing to pass through here. So what I would do is actually remove this purple and or different color your camera came with, and then just keep the camera like this because this is so much easier to pass it through here. And what we do is use the electrical tape they did send and then wrap this and then start routing and then we'll install the camera. So now we have put the electrical tape. Our job is to now just pull this from this side, and while we're pulling it in the bottom there, you may have to help it a little bit by guiding it to go through that rubber piece. And just like that, we got the wiring to the other side, and now let's work on installing this right here. So for the next step, you are going to align with this middle socket here. Just kind of eye it depending on your OCD level. For me, that seems like pretty in the middle. So what I'm gonna do is just go down here, and then I'm gonna be installing the camera right here in the middle. But you can kind of figure this out for yourself, what you want, and you're gonna use an alcohol wipe to clean the space and then let it dry. Then we're gonna be installing it. Now, once you clean this surface and you found the middle, what you do is remove this 3M adhesive cover from here. And so we're gonna remove this. And what we're gonna do is actually align this. So if it is the center, so for me, the center is gonna be right here. But what you need to check for is make sure the camera is at a same level as the bumper, because if it is too far ahead, it's going to give you false alarm that the objects are a little bit closer. So kind of eye this to see where things are at. So for me, I think if I put it right here, that seems about right. You just gently apply this, and I would actually step back and make sure that looks center. This looks good to me, and I'm able to just push this down to see the bottom part for alignment or whatnot. So that kind of looks good to me, but step back and see if it is center or not for you. Once you're satisfied with the placement, go ahead and just press and hold and just sit there with this holding up for a little bit, like up to 10 seconds or so. You can push this camera down, press it, Just make sure that the glue got this, and yeah, this seems pretty strong to me. And look at this. As I said earlier, you're able to adjust the angle of this if you want it straight, if you want it a little bit down, if you want it further down to even see this bumper here. Like you could even do that to see the edge of this bumper if you want. So that's what we're gonna be looking at. This is pretty good to me. So now let's route the camera all the way inside. Next, we're going to grab this camera cable that we routed from the bottom, grab the extension from earlier, align the arrows, and simply push it in. And to further secure this so this never comes up, because if this does come up, you're gonna have to remove the whole front panel again. Put some electrical tape and basically secure this connection so that it has no chance that it is going to come off ever. Now at that point, it's just a wire routing job. So the camera cable is here. Our job is to get it all the way over there so we can pass the cable inside through the firewall. So we just have to use some zip ties and electrical tape to get the cable there. Okay, so for me, what I did is I routed the cable. I put some electrical tape to secure it here, electrical tape there, pass it through the gap all the way there. I secured it with some electrical tape there, and now I have pulled it out from here. Our job is to push it through that grommet, and this is going to be extremely challenging to show on a camera, but I'll try my best. So we gotta reach underneath there. There is gonna be a grommet. I don't know if I can show you that well with the lighting. So there is that wire grommet that's passing through. We gotta make a hole through that to push that through. To make your life a little bit easier, you can remove this piece. Just remove this plastic fastener by just using a pry tool like this and just prying this out, and then do throughout. So there's 1, 2, and 3 there, and then that comes off. That gives you a little bit more room to see that grommet. So once you remove this plastic grommet here, they're super easy to get lost. So keep it in a safe place, and then you can pop this out. That gives you just a little bit more room to see there, to be able to feed the wire. Then finally, you can remove this grommet right there, the plastic fastener, and then once you do that from here, this allows you to lift this a little bit. So look at this, just a little bit, just enough for your hand to fit through here and then reach that grommet there. So that is the grommet that we're talking about. You see there on the very, very back, the wire is going through. Our job is to poke a hole on that and route that cable through there. So that's what we need to do. It's super hard to show you on the Model 3 because it's so tight, but on Model Y it's a lot easier to see that part. It's still a tedious step. So you see that right there? You can also remove that knockout there. You can just cut that knockout, and then you can pass it through there as well. To see that camera wire from the other side, we need to do a little bit of prep work right here. And almost all the videos that I have seen from these Chinese vendors is they just yank this out. Please do not do that. With the US version, there is a screw right here. So like right there, and this is going to damage it. So do not do that. Your best bet is to just go to the carpet right here, you see? Just this edge on the carpet, and then pull the carpet down. So look at it right there, carpet down, and it comes off super easily, no issues. Then you're able to see the ECU and everything here, and then we're gonna be able to grab that cable from the other side. But do not yank this out. I think over there on their version, maybe that works, but not in the US version. So I use a little bit of foam here to get me a little bit of more space to work with there. And no matter what I did, I just couldn't puncture that grommet. It's just so tight for my hands. So what I ended up doing is just passing the wire from the side. I prop out that grommet a little bit, pass the wire. I've done that with other cars, no issues, but I know I'm gonna get some heat for doing it this way. Unfortunately, it's getting late. I've spent a lot of time trying to make this work, and I just couldn't puncture that to pass it because the hole would be too small, and I don't wanna accidentally cut any of the wires there either. So I have to be careful. I was kind of going blind there. So that is how I'm gonna do it. Recommended way is to make a hole and pass it, but this method still works where I just basically prop that a little bit, made a room, pass that fishing wire through it, and let me show you how I was able to get that on inside. So if we go here, so right there, the fishing wire came through, and inside there, So I got it. I was able to pass it through there. So it does come down. One tip for you guys while passing it is push it downward. So like lift the rubber grommet and then push it kind of towards down. That way it'll come here. Otherwise it might go up instead of coming down. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so we're able to pull this through here, and I am going to continue the install now. Now that we have routed the camera cable, I wouldn't remove the tape yet, because we can then tape this one too, the actual power and everything to the screen. And then we need to route this fishing cable all the way there to the front. So now we're gonna start routing that cable to the front. The first step is right here. So this is true for Highland, Juniper, the other Model 3s and Ys, the older ones, super easy. You don't have to do that because when the dash comes up, there's giant void here. This one's doesn't. So first to start right here. So this is the first one by the air vent right there, past the wire. And essentially what you can do is from this bottom port right there, you can even put your hand, because this is giant like void inside. So you can even put your hand and then grab that. So here we are. Now we are going to be taping everything and passing it through, and then just we have to keep doing that for a couple of times until we reach this middle part, and then bring the wire from the other side. So I passed it through and then connected. I had 2 fishing wires, so luckily I can use one or other from different installs, so I can just keep removing this, and so I don't have to keep redoing this electrical connection with the plugs and everything. So I tighten this very nicely, and then I have the other fishing wire. I'm just gonna be removing this on every step, but basically you can just pull this through, and while you are going through this piece here, you may need to help it out a little bit because it might get stuck, but super easy. You just have to kind of push this through and then pull it from the other side. And then once we get to the plug itself, that's when you do need to help it out a little bit more by just pushing this through here. And then we're gonna be pulling it from the other side. Don't let it get stuck. Yep. The space is rather tight here, so just keep that in mind while you're pulling it through. If it feels stuck, don't yank it out too much. Just go from the gap here to see if you can open the gap just a little bit more. So it does come through, but the space is super tight and it's gonna get tighter right here. So it's gonna take some patience. Don't rush this step, just take your time and gently do it. Now, after you pass it through right here, the first step, we need to then go through this void here and then bring it up from here, again from there to there. It's a few steps because with the Highland and the Juniper, they made the dash so flushed, like there is no gap to run any wire. So we gotta work within the openings, and they're pretty clever to figure this out, all these third-party companies. So basically then you need to route it through this opening here. This is a bulky cable because of the camera and the plug, so if you want to be careful, again, pulling this out, it might get stuck a little bit more. You might have to lift this, so just take your time. If you're having a hard time passing both of these at the same time, you can also split it. So just route the camera cable first. So now we are through here. So first we started from here. I'm leaving some slack in case I need to pull it back because I think our junction point is gonna be right there. So now next step is going to be through right here. You wanna push it back. So look at it, you wanna push it back and then pull it through, and then you saw that it's coming out on this main point right here. So that is where we are going to be pulling this, and I'm gonna start with the camera cable first. The space is a little tight, so you can do that. And now I am gonna be routing this cable through there as well using the same fishing wire. All right, we're getting really close at getting this done here. For the display now, we just need to route this cable from the display all the way to the middle so we can hide all the cable right here in the middle. Well, and they made a little channel, so if you look at it, the wire comes through and then goes through this channel here so that this display can slide in, and then we're going to take out the cable from the other end and route it. But let's first install this display and then we'll route the cable. For Model 3 Highland and Juniper, it is super easy. You don't have to guess where the center is because the air vent right here is the center, where it's the driver's center there, matches with the steering wheel, and they have got the air vent right here. So what you do in this situation is essentially just match this air vent size with this. So right there, that's your center. You don't have to do any guesswork. You just align it, and then this notch that you have kind of goes in and wedges into the middle and makes it a strong bond. So right now, all I have to do is after I find the center, I just have to push it in on both sides. So I go in and do the same thing on the other side, and that's it. Like, this display is in. When we push this down with the dash, this becomes much, much secure, but right now it is super secure. It's like putting on the screw because they made that really good part to hold this in. For older Model Ys and 3s, you're gonna have to pass it through the dash, and there is some screws from the back that you need to put in. I have a video link down below to show you what that looks like, but just quickly, this is what you can expect from the older ones. This is the newer one right here. So now we are ready to route the wire. Let me show you a little bit closely what this looks like. So from a little bit of close up, you can see that that part is wedged in there, and this is strong. It is not moving, and it matches with the air vent space right there that Tesla has. It looks like this, the air vent. So like, it makes it super easy, takes out the guesswork of where the center is because this is already wedged in. And then now we gotta route this cable through this gap here, take it out from here, again put it in through this gap, and then through the back to get it right here so that we can connect it with the existing cable that we routed earlier. Now, I already told them about this. What I noticed is that because of the orientation of this cable is probably going to be visible from the right side. And I already told them to figure out a solution, and they say what they're gonna do is extend this bracket just a little bit out here so that they can hide this cable, because right now, because of the air vent, they can't hide this cable because the air vent matches here. If we were to put the cable behind this bracket here, it is not going to look good because it's gonna just come off. So this is how we are going to route it, and in the future they say that they have already started working on modifying this bracket. So hopefully by the time, if you're going to check this out, they will have a solution for you that this extends just a little bit here to cover this piece. But let's go ahead and now use the same method. We're going to fish it through here, pick it out from here. The camera cable, I probably don't even need a fishing wire. Just for this, I'm going to need a fishing wire. So I have put the electrical tape here on the camera as well as the other plug, just so that it is not too bulky with both in one fishing wire. And I also told them to ship out 2 fishing wires if people order a camera as well. So that's what we're gonna do now, start routing this through here and there. So we are through this first hole here, it's gone there. Now we're gonna go through this hole. So we cross from here to that gap, through the back again, and the plugs are there. Now we just have to connect those 2 plugs. And the plugs are super easy to connect. You get the yellow plug that we routed earlier, align the arrows together, and basically you can plug this in right here. So the camera cable is plugged in. Now this guy, same thing. You take the one that we routed earlier and align the notch on this side. So that's the one. I don't know if you can see it, and then just simply press this in to secure this plug into its place. We are good to go. Now you should be getting power to your display. And we do. Now, to just make this secure so it doesn't fall, you can also put electrical tape on both of this so that it becomes secure. And we just need to kind of hide this right here. As you see, there is a big gap. So we can hide all of this, and now we're ready to put the dash back in. Now this space is limited here, so only pull the cable that you need. So that means all of that extra, I'm gonna just pull it from that side so we can hide it in the bottom instead of leaving it here. As I keep saying, the dash is extremely tight. There is no gap here to fit anything. Putting this dash back on is just as simple as how we removed it. Just align the pins, and we can start pushing this down. We gotta go over there and align it so that everything is secured. Now come to the other side here. make sure that everything is aligned, and you can go ahead and push this down. And we are good to go. This is secured. We're almost done. We just need to put back the side panel and we're done. This is what it looks like once it is done. This is from the side there. I really like how this fits. It kind of matches with that color there. I like how it looks from the top. It just aligns it. There is the air vent. We're going to talk about this here in just a second. But just keep in mind, there is a little bit of a wire visible. You have to look closely to see that there in the corner. But right now, that is the wire that you can kind of see. It's a little bit dark here, but that's the wire that you see. So hopefully they fix that issue where they put the wire from the back. Otherwise, this is good to go. It's bigger than I thought and looks really nice. We're gonna go through all the settings and everything, but the dash is fully in and we're ready to play with the screen. So the first thing I wanted to test was how strong is this? There was no pin, no nothing, no screws, but this is actually pretty good. Like applying the force is not rattling. That's what I was worried about. This is snug in really well, and the top covers it too, so it holds this in place because the air vent goes kind of inside there. So it is pretty strong, and I don't think it's gonna come off. So let's start with the basic function and what you can see. Of course, you can see the speed on the left here. They're using Tesla funds. You can see the battery, the range remaining, the US-based speed limit. I'll show you how you can change that. Your car, this kind of looks like a Model Y, but this is the Model 3 Highland logo here. You see tire pressure. I've asked them to make that the same color as the car already, and then you see the gear here. So park, reverse, drive, neutral, and then the time on the top and the temperature, and you can change all of that, and I'll show you here in just a second. Then if you were to slide this towards the right, you see some of the stats of since the last start. You can also see some of the energy graph. I wouldn't trust this because this looks very, very rudimentary. I don't know where they are getting this from. Maybe it will get better over time. This would be amazing to see the little graph that you see on Tesla, but I don't think that is showing that, because if we were to look at the Tesla's graph, that looks like that. For me, I wish they would show that here, but that's a discussion for another day. If you swipe left, there's the setting, there's CarPlay, there's Android Auto, there's Miracast for Android, and Apple Airplay for iPhone. So that is everything that you get. Now let's go to the settings here, and I'll show you how you can change the setting. By the way, you can also use this. So if you want to go between different settings or different menu, you can just quickly do that, and ignore this because Tesla is making noise because I have its shortcut connected through the Enhances Sexy commander, so that when I scroll this, it goes reverse, drive, and all of that. But basically you can go and then select all of this that you want, and to make that selection, you just have to hit left, or actually to make the selection you have to hit the right. So if you do this, you see the setting pops up, but then if you do this, it exits and takes you to the main menu. So left is to the main menu, right is to select it, that option. So let's go to the set here, select, and then you can continue using this scroll wheels to go between different settings here, or you can use your hand. So that makes it super handy that while driving, you don't want to be touching the screen. This scroll wheel does all of that work for you. So on the very first setting, this is the internet, so WLAN setting, where you can connect to the hotspot or Wi-Fi, and that way you can do the software update. But basically that's what you can connect to your home's Wi-Fi or connect to the personal hotspot for some of the features that we'll talk about here in just a second. Then if you go to general, this is really nice that it lets you select everything. So the temperature, Celsius, Fahrenheit, 12, 24, time zone, speed limit signs, so American versus general. This would be the red circle I'll show you here. Audio output is loudspeaker or Bluetooth, so it does have a built-in speaker here. Or if you select Bluetooth, you can then connect to the Tesla's screen to play audio out of Tesla's screen. Bar versus PSI, and then the language. Now with that setting, let me show you, if I was to go to general for speed limit, what do we get? So if we were to go back, that's what you get. So 35, so that's what you would get with the speed limit sign, with the European speed limit sign or Asian speed limit sign. And if we were to go back and do American and then show you what that looks like, that is the American speed limit sign. So that's what you get with the speed limit difference here. Now if we were to go back to the general is done model, you can do Model 3 Highland, Model 3 Cybertruck, Model Y Juniper. So let's do Model Y Juniper, and let's do red or gray, blue, and then if we go back, you can see the Model Y Juniper. I think that light bar, they need to figure that out. That looks a little wonky there, but they are working on that. I provided that comment to them when I showed that. So like, let's say red, you see that I think they wanted to show it like a light, but it should only be visible when the light is turned on. Right now the light is not even turned on, and that's what it shows there. So they gotta fix that. But you can select everything. Let's go to Cybertruck. Let's see what a red Cybertruck looks like. Bam, that looks nice. So you can do all of that setting and change between different cars and color. You got all of that here. Model 3 Highland, that is red, and then I have the drive mode left, but you can also do it right if you are on the right countries with the right drive. Display, you can do UI 1, UI 2, UI 3, light dark auto, and then of course the full screen here. You can turn off the rainbow road on Autopilot. I'll show you what that looks like, and forward looking is just the camera, so the forward looking camera. Now that is everything that you get with the display option, and then software, of course, because this needs to be connected to the mobile hotspot or Wi-Fi, then you can hit MCU, and then if there is a update, then you can do the update. Going back to display just a second, if we were to go to UI 2, it gives you a dial type of a UI, which is really cool looking UI here. Again, that it shows the consumption. I don't know how accurate that is going to be, but you can see the dial there, and you can see all the information here. Again, still like the other one, but it gives you that. I'll show you what the driving mode looks like on the UI number 2 here in just a second. Then if we were to go to UI number 3, you see a slightly different version where it still gives you like a UI number 1, but during drive the road becomes a little bit different. So those are the UI options. Please comment below what other UI option you would like to see and what you would like to see on each of those UIs, and I'm gonna pass that along to the manufacturer. So that is basically what you get with this setting here. I'm gonna go back to UI number 1. I like that. There's a minimalist UI there, and I'm gonna show you a few more things. Now with this, you can also open the door and it updates it. So opening the door, that updates it right there. If we were to open the trunk, it opens the trunk there. So it shows there, which is really cool that you are able to see that on the screen. I'm gonna close the trunk, and once the trunk is closed, that trunk sign goes away. So that's what you get with there. If you look very, very closely, I think they have a little bit of work to do right here on fixing that. That looks like the door is slightly open. So, and that looks kind of like Model Y, but no complaints here. That looks really cool. Here is how the animation changes. So, we put it into drive, you can see that it kind of focuses towards driving, and then if we put this into reverse, that goes forward and reverses it. It kind of matches with what Tesla is doing here. So drive, reverse, which is pretty cool. They did a pretty cool job with the UI. So if I was to park, then it returns and kind of does what Tesla does, which is pretty cool. And then they also have settings. So if you were to scroll down, this is amazing that they got, of course, the Bluetooth, the brightness, the audio. To be honest, I do not know what SWC time or AP does, but this is for battery preconditioning. This is where you can turn off the display, and here are the easy touch button here. So you can open the front passenger, pop out the front passenger, unlatch the front passenger door, the rear left and rear right, which is great. And then you can toggle the seat here. Let's try that seat adjustment here. So this one pushes it forward. I think they got it reverse here. So basically, if I was to press this, look at that, that goes forward a little bit and it reclines forward too. So it goes forward and reclines it, and then this goes backward and reclines it. So you can do the seat setting there, and just pressing on the setting actually takes you back to the main menu. Let me show you some of this door unlatching here. So basically what it does is you can also pay attention to that screen, because that will also show the unlatching. So this one is the front passenger side to the right. So if I was to press that, if you look at it, it opened that front door there as well. This is the rear left. That one did unlatch that door, and this is the front right, and that our front rear right, and that unlatched it. So all of the doors got unlatched by just pressing on here, which is awesome. Those are all the shortcuts. So we're gonna go through each of the UI option and what it looks like while driving. So now we are putting the car into drive on UI number 1, and this is what you see with all the options. That's what it looks like. The car is starting to drive. The little lane thing pops up, just like other versions in the past, and you can see it from the steering wheel here. If you had a yoke, I think it's going to be better, but even without the yoke, from a driver's perspective, you should be able to see this. So that's what you get with UI number 1. Here's turn signal, here's turn signal, and I really like how they use the Tesla's font here in big letter. I think if they could move that to the middle, I think that would be even better. The speed limit sign, they got that right, the battery and everything. This is really nice, and as I say, while driving, you can go between different settings right here to go to different options. So that's what you get with UI number 1. Again, put this into drive. Now changing the display to UI number 2, and I'm going to go to main menu here. So that's the dial that you see, and looks like you only get dark options, and I think they should change this so that I can have different options here rather than just seeing that energy graph there. But let me go to drive. You can see the tire pressure, you can see all of this while driving, and yeah, it's a dial. That's what you see. Of course, turn signal, everything is just as usual. So this is UI number 3. It looks awful lot like UI number 1, except for the road is black in this. I wonder if they incorporated the blind spot detection system here. So I'm gonna go on a highway and then see if they did that. That would be actually pretty great, but I'm not sure if they did that, because that is pretty much a wasted space right there. But other than that, like, everything looks the same. Now let's test the Autopilot and nag feature. So the Autopilot is nice. It shows the rainbow color there, and let's see what it shows if I look away. I also really like that Autopilot sign on the corner. Look at that, like, it looks really cool. It looks very Tesla-like. They're using the same symbol and everything. I love that big font right here. That makes it a big difference. Maybe move that to here would be even better, but that looks really cool. And I believe that nag was in Chinese letter earlier, so they just need to make that into English. But look at that, that looks super cool. And let me toggle the Autopilot on UI number 2 and see what you get. It just shows you that little blue sign there, which is amazing. So that's what you get, and there you go. It gives you the alert in Chinese. That needs to be in English, but you get the nag too, which is pretty awesome. And the rainbow color is very much in the middle there. Really like how they use the Autopilot there. Wow, that big sign for paying attention to the road is amazing. So we're gonna be testing the blind spot monitoring system, and we're gonna get on the highway here in just a second and see when the car is in the blind spot what we would see. So right now it flashes red because there is a car, and then it no longer there, so the red went away. And if there's just a car in the blind spot, so now there's gonna be a car in the blind spot. We should be seeing yellow, so we did see that. and the car passed, and we no longer see the yellow, so which is great. There's going to be another car in our blind spot, so the yellow flashing will come. There you go. And if we blink, it'll flash red. Again, it'll flash red with blinking, and we stop blinking. There you go, yellow. If there's a car in the blind spot, as soon as it passes, the yellow goes away. So we're gonna try out the blind spot detection system on this UI here. This is UI number 3. And yeah, so you see the car, whoa. So in the UI number 3, they actually include the car within the road. So if you go here, and look, when I have the car in the blind spot, it shows a red car. If I flash and take away the blind spot, it will show a yellow sign and the car in the very middle. That is amazing. I really like how they figured that out. Wow, they did a good job. So there's gonna be a car in my blind spot here in just a second, and you'll see that that car actually shows up on the screen. Finally, someone making use of that screen there, and if I flash, it will show red on that car right there. Wow, that is amazing. So this is from the driver's perspective. I am 5'9", and this is what I see. Of course, with the yoke, this would be a little bit better on the top, but I do see all of this. Like literally, I'm putting this camera directly in front of my face to show you this, that this is what you get. Like it's a big enough screen and it shows really well. So for that front blind spot camera, if we were to go over here into settings, and if we go to display and it says forward looking, that is what activates the camera. So if you don't have that, then it's not going to activate the camera. So to do that, you have to first toggle that setting. Now, how the camera works is if you put your car into drive, it will automatically toggle the camera. So if you were to go to screen right here, put the car into drive, that blind spot camera shows up and you are able to navigate that through. So Tesla sees that thing right there as well, but if it didn't, then you are able to see this. If it was a small structure, you'll be able to see that. And as you get closer, Tesla is beeping you, but the camera is showing that you still have a little bit of room left there, and just visually gives you an idea of how far away you may be from that obstacle there. Now this is especially handy if the object is small. Obviously you can't see anything down there, there is an object, but Tesla doesn't see that. So if we were to put the car into drive, Tesla is not gonna know there is any obstacle on the way because it is too small. And here you're able to clearly see that there is an obstacle, some sort of obstacle there. And as you inch closer, you can see that it's a small item on the floor. You cannot see that. Tesla cannot see that, but this blind spot detection system will show you that right there. So that's the power of this camera, and you can adjust the angle. You can put this up, down, whatever you want to see. Parking blocks especially helpful with this. And if you're wondering what that was this metal peacock here that's laying, and that camera is showing that. And the distance was pretty good. I think that's where we saw it from inside. So the placement of camera matters, but that's what you get. Now this camera does automatically turn off after you reach a speed of 20 miles per hour. And that's something that in the past with other cars, you could press this icon to bring the camera up, and it will work on a regular Model Y, like older Model Y or 3. Pressing this button will bring the camera up on demand at any point. However, on a Highland like this, pressing this button activates Autopilot, and you can't use that camera button with the Autopilot active. I tried it, it doesn't bring the camera on demand. So that's something that I have asked them. I haven't heard back from them. Hopefully they can address that. Maybe they can make a different shortcut button to bring the camera on demand. But to get rid of the camera, even at a lower speed, all you have to do is press this towards the left, and then the camera view goes away, and now you are on a drive view. But I wish you could bring the camera by just basically pressing this or something. But no, it doesn't. Like it doesn't bring the camera view on demand on a Highland or a Juniper yet. So again, as I said, hoping that they respond back to me so I can make a comment or just make that camera view something different than this button, because this activates Autopilot on the Highland and Juniper. Now let's go through the CarPlay and Android Auto. Let's start with Android Auto here. So what we do is when you click on Auto, it says specification, what to do. We're gonna go to connected devices here. We're going to go and pair a Bluetooth, pair a new device. TSL, we did find it. Let's pair it, and we saw the little Android Auto pop up, so that means it's just a matter of a couple of seconds before that goes away and we have full Android Auto. There you go. So that is screen switching, means it has connected. Now just give it a second. There you go. We got Android Auto loading. So here's the Android Auto in full screen. I hope that they can expand this. It looks a little stretched right here. I think they were trying to just make this full screen. There's a lot of bezels that is showing because of that. So I want them to make that full screen, but you do get that. And this is where you can press here, go through different things. You can go through different apps. This is the full Android Auto. So you can select any of this and look at messages. You can also exit from here, and there's also another way where you can access this and go through different settings is by just using this scroll wheel. So right now, if you do that, like it'll go to exit, it'll go to all of those apps, and you can scroll through it. And if you wanna select one of those apps, let's say if we go back to Maps, and if you wanna just select that, you can just press this towards the right, and it'll open up the map. So that's what you can do with this scroll wheel with Android Auto. Now that's the full screen mode. Let me show you half a screen, like a split screen mode. So if we were to go back to this, so this is just zooming in, we can search through that, or you can also just select this. So if we were to go back to the menu, exit this. Now if we were to go to, and by the way, don't worry about this Tesla beeping because I have a shortcut set up. So if I use the scroll wheel, it could put the car into drive and whatnot. So if I was to go to settings here, I go to display, right there it says full screen or half a screen. So I can go do half a screen. And then if I was to go back, like there's Android Auto right there in half a screen. So that's what it looks like. Actually, it looks a lot better now because I think it was meant to be more of a half a screen setting, but you could make it full screen, and that's what you get. Again, you can use the scroll wheel. Now at this point, you can use Google Map, you can use Waze, you can use whatever on a full Android Auto. So CarPlay is exactly the same thing. You go to CarPlay here, it tells you to connect to Bluetooth. We are going to try to find the Bluetooth right here when it pops up. ESL Bluetooth popped up. We're gonna hit pair. It says pair. I'm not going to allow that. It is pairing request, and that should update. But right now, it's going through pair, and it says connect to CarPlay. I'm saying connect, and that should now enable CarPlay. This is now fully connected. There you go. We got Apple CarPlay, and this is the half version of it. So it only does partial CarPlay. CarPlay looks a lot better than Android Auto, to be honest with you, which is really cool. We can go Google Map here. As you can see the red car there. I can go Waze right there. Oh, that's cool. So you can go through all of that. Of course, Waze will work just like it would work on your phone. And let me see how the full screen works with this. And again, just like the Android version, you can use the button here, the side button, to control all of this there. So if I was to go back here, display, I'm gonna toggle that full screen, and wow, I love the full screen CarPlay. The Android looked a little bit weird, honestly, but the CarPlay looks so much better. Maybe my Android phone is too old, I don't know, but this is really cool. Like the full screen CarPlay, I definitely like this thing here. Waze is something that I use a lot, and now I have this in a full screen mode. So for the Airplay, where you can cast your iPhone to this device, you have to first go to the WLAN setting over here, turn on the Wi-Fi, and then connect your phone's hotspot. So Shiva's iPhone is connected here. I had to just press on it and put the password. And once you do that, then you can go to your phone, and let me show you where you can go to your phone here and then basically simply slide this down, and just like how you would do a screencast, you're gonna see live link. You just press on that, and what it does is it's going to start casting it there. So right there, it's very tiny on the screen, but it does cast it, and you are able to see that there. So look at that. I'm controlling this and it is casting there. So with the Airplay here, you have this. I'm not giving you guys any ideas. Please don't do this while driving, but just wanted to show you that it does work right here. And if I was to make that full screen, it becomes a little bit bigger. And as you see, like flipping this, you can do this. So you can see all of that just directly from your iPhone casting here. That's pretty cool. If you have been following our channel for a while, you know exactly where this is. We like to do airflow testing on this instrument cluster displays. So basically, I have deflected the air to come straight to my face here. So most of the air should be coming right here. We're gonna start with 1. So this is level 1. The air is straight coming to my face here. I get just a little bit, not too much, but even without it, you're not gonna get much airflow on level 1. Now let's take it up notch. Let's do 5. So this is 5, and I do start seeing the airflow, which is great news, because look at that. That's directly to my face, and you see a lot of airflow even at 5. So the addition of this airflow here, like the air vents, definitely made a big difference, that you're able to get all of that. And just to give you an idea, if I was to deflect this down, I don't get as much airflow here. Like this is all deflected down, so you don't see as much. But then as soon as I move this up, you get quite a bit of airflow going towards me, because I moved those air vents towards my face. So you do get that airflow, which is again a good sign that it is working. Like right here, look at that. Normally this display would block a lot of airflow, and this one, it doesn't, because they did a good design for that. Now let's do 10, and of course you should be getting a lot of airflow, and I do. Like that's quite a bit of air. Look at that right here. That's a lot of air that is passing through, and it is very evident that this works, and I can feel the air. Like there's quite a bit of air that's passing through here, and I can adjust this. I can make it go this way, so you see like all of that airflow is going that way. Like if I deflect both of this, look at that, it's going that way, but then if I deflect it this way, it starts coming here. So airflow testing, good. They did a good job, and I could feel the air going to my face. Even if I was to decrease that to 5, I still get quite a bit of airflow just going to my face. So amazing job. I think it will still block some airflow. There is no way around it, but this is the best I have seen on any of the instrument cluster displays. So here's my verdict about this display. I like the integration piece of it. They did a good job with the UI. They did a good job with the graphics. The overall features that they have added is very, very nice features, including popping the doors open. They had Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, just like the other displays, but now we can do full screen versus half a screen. So they added the customization, which is really nice. They have the iPhone casting, Android casting, which is great. And most importantly, they have adjustable air vents, fully integrated in there, that looks looks kind of OEM, that came with the display. It doesn't look kind of add-on or something like that. It looks really nice compared to the other displays that we have had in the past, and you can fully adjust it. And we saw that there's quite a bit of airflow that comes out of those air vents, which is a good sign. And just as I say, overall, they integrated front camera, they integrated the blind spot detection system, the autopilot warning. I mean, there's just so much feature in this display, which is really a good thing that we have been asking for all these years. Now, just some of the feedback for this company. Of course, they need to hide that wire. That is not negotiable. They need to hide that wire. They need to figure out a way to hide that wire, because we had other displays in the past that had really nice graphics and everything, but then the wire was visible and we didn't like it. So I hope that they are able to integrate that as well. Of course, there is always room for more features that they can incorporate on this displays. They also need to fix the Chinese autopilot nag, the camera setting where I can bring up the camera easily on demand, and then just some of the settings. I think the seat control, it is in a reverse direction right now. The button that shows up or forward goes reverse, so they gotta fix that as well. So just a few of those minor things, and then I could not get the Android Miracast to work. I could only get the iPhone casting to work, so something, maybe I'm not using the right Android phone, maybe I don't know how to do that, but I couldn't get it to work with my Android phone there, so that's also something that they need to work on. So what do you all think about this product? Your likes, your dislikes, please let me know in the comment section below. If you have any feedback for the company, now is a great time so we can test this company out on their promise of keeping up with all the changes based on customer feedback. Let's give them some tests and let's see how they do, but I'm really hopeful that they are able to make some changes. So please drop those in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, if you'd like to see videos like this in the future, if you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and come back again soon. Thank you very much.